Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michala and I make videos about all things cozy and journaling related. So if that interests you, I would love if you would subscribe and like this video. And today I'm going to update my reading journal with the books I read in May. So let's light this candle and get started. Okay, so let's get started. I only read 3 books in May, but they were all very good. I ended up traveling to DC with my family in May for a work thing. We went to help launch a coffee shop, and I wasn't expecting that, so I didn't read as much as I normally do, but that's okay. I have some months where I read a lot, like maybe 7 to 9 books is kind of the most I read, and then some months where I read, like in April, I just read 4. So I think I'll make a spread for each book. I'll make a cover page first, and then I'll make a spread for each book I read. Let me know how many books a month you normally read, and if you like to make spreads for each of them, or if you're the type of person that reads so much, maybe you just put a bunch of them on one spread. Okay, so it is starting to feel like summer. Summer doesn't start until June technically. These are the books I read, and they're not very summer looking. So since summer doesn't really start in June, I might save June to be more summer looking and stick with maybe a darker look for this month, because these are the books I read. This is the same book. This is just the UK cover. I read The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. I read Hat Atelier, the 2nd volume. It's a manga. And I read Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare, which is the 2nd book in the Infernal Devices series. And they are all, Witch Hat is pretty light-hearted, but they're all like a little bit darker vibe. So let's see what we can do to come up with a cover page. I printed both the UK cover and this is the cover I read, the American one, for this book, because I thought I would give myself the option for when we do a spread for this book, if we want to go with like these blues and kind of red, or more of like a black dark academia look. So that's why I have 2 of those. Let's put them to the side and I'll figure out what I want to do for my cover spread. I have my big book of stickers where I have over here some drawers where I keep stickers, and then the rest of them are in here pretty much. So I thought maybe this would be a good month to do Marigona Suli stickers. I use her a lot, so, maybe I won't, but I thought we could look, because I feel like she might be a good look for if we want to do something both summery but also kind of like witchy. The Clockwork Prince doesn't really have witches, I don't think. Maybe it kind of does, but it's more about the main characters are shadow hunters, which they hunt demons. So between that and Witch Hat having witches, obviously, and then The Tainted Cup is a mystery but a fantasy book, I thought maybe these ones would be cute, because they're kind of dark, but it still has the pink in there. They're like browns and pinks. And then I want to save some of these for fall time, but I kind of like that maybe if we did those ones together, we could still make it like a little bit spring summery. Here, let's take out these purple ones too, just in case. And then I think I'll save these stickers. Okay, let's put those back and figure out what else we want to do. I'm going to go ahead and pull out these frames for maybe my book titles, because they're kind of the brownish mauve pink ones. Okay, so I think this could look really fun. She's reading, she has flowers, she has pink, that's very cute. And then I'm just looking at these to see what else we might want to use. And then these over here maybe. Okay, now I'm going to get some other papers that I think will go. And most of my paper ephemera is just from a couple sets I got from Amazon. I like this portion. Maybe I'll actually rip out the moon, and I can always use it later or on this other side. And then rip the bottom, this side a little bit, this side. This is not ripping very well over here, but oh well. It's not ripping very clean. It's probably my fault, but that's okay. I think we can still play with that and put her maybe over here. And then we could stamp the date, the month, May, right there. Let's try that. And then this whole look is making me want to pull out my Midsummer Night's Dream washi tape set from Notebook Therapy and use some of these over here. I like all of them really, but I think a couple of these will go. Maybe this neutral one. I'm thinking this one with the darker tones and florals and butterflies would be good. And maybe some of this one, which is more of like a stamp or like a frame look where you can use one at a time or multiple. Honestly, I just might leave the whole thing over here so I can see what I want to use. Okay, maybe I'll put her there over top of that. Okay, I'm gonna start taping these two down so that they don't move and I can then play with my other pieces. I don't like when everything moves around. It's too much going on. Okay, that's down, and now I want to see, this piece isn't down yet because I want to see where I want to put it behind her. I'm going to peel her off and maybe put her like there. So I want that to look intentional behind her. I think that's good. Let's tape it down. Okay, and let's see if she looks good right there. Okay, I like that. And then we have more books we can add, as well as these ones from her sticker sheet. I should have shown you up close. You can see, really pretty. Okay, and then maybe these tulips will bring some of that pink in and kind of give like a unique dark academia, or I guess this is now kind of light academia with some florals, because even though it's summer, we don't always want to have to be bright and colorful. Sometimes we are feeling more moody even in the summer. At least that's the books I read. I'll probably do like a romance type of like, I don't know, like readathon type of thing for the summer at some point. And so then my spreads, I usually like them to go with the book I read, so I might end up doing something really more bright and colorful during the summer, but I thought this will be a nice intro to summer. These ones are like from a pack that they're like a PET tape or pet tape, and this one's more of like a washi tape sticker. I found another of the pet tape one. I might stick with those. And then let's see what we want to do over here. I only have 3 books, so we only need 3 or so frames, maybe little ones. Let's play with these ones. Maybe those 3 and keep them different. I usually try to do something centered over on this page and then something a little larger or almost the whole page on this side. Okay, there's that. Let's rip the top and bottom side of this one. Okay, there we go. May was my birth month, so I, while in DC, actually went to several bookstores and ended up getting a lot of books for my birthday. So when I fill out my yearly spreads at the front of the journal, I'll do that in a separate video, and I'll show you, I'll write down all the books I got because I'm keeping track of the books bought and the series I've read and things like that in my yearly spreads. So if you're interested in seeing that, I will probably film that, filling out all those spreads right after my May spreads, and I'll post it separately so that you can watch it if you're interested. But I got a lot of books and I'm excited. Although I don't know if that's good for my spending goals, it was very fun. DC had a lot of cute bookstores, and I went to a local bookshop called Lost City Books, and it was very cute and cozy and just had like such a great selection. So I got a lot of books from there. Maybe that. I have a ripped piece of paper from a different spread we did last time, and it's already ripped on those sides. So I kind of like that. Kind of just filling up the whole page with these papers back here. And then I think I'll add my stickers over top. Even if I cover, where's that other witch I had? Right here, if I add one of those. I don't know. Maybe I'll save them for one of my spreads because I don't want it to compete too much with her. And she's not a super big sticker. She's not super large. So let's just, okay, I think I like this, but I think it's a lot. I think I'd rather these be replaced with just brown paper. So less going on, less pattern. I don't mind the maximalism look, but maybe this will help me out. Rip, you know, something down here. Let's tape this down as our base. This piece went on a little crooked, but that's okay. It stuck down before I was ready. And then over here, I kind of want to fill it equally, so I'll either put like a flower going up there, maybe, and then yeah, maybe this sticker down there, something like that, and we can put books around. Okay, cool, I think I'm liking that. It's got some greenery mixed with the browns and some pinks, and it's a unique color combo I don't do very often. I also have this, which is actually pink and brown too. Well, you know, like pink in the background and then browns on top. But I have so much pattern going on, I think maybe we'll save that for a spread about one of the books, maybe. Let's see if we want to use any of this. Maybe on the cover page to bring more attention over here. I wonder if I could get it to go under the ripped edge that I already placed. Let's peel that back and then put it here. I think that's looking good. Let's see about maybe instead of this big flower again, maybe this is enough and we'll put some pink from these ones in here. Or do we like that? I think let's place a big sticker with these coffee and books over here to fill out the sides more equally, and go ahead and place this guy and then this flower like that. And then I think I'll peel this book and put it like right here so my frame has something behind it. Maybe put it like a little bit over to the side over here. And then this one can be over there a little more so they kind of move across. Maybe this book could go over here somewhere. I actually kind of like it down here. Let's do that, and then this one has a flower on it. Let's put that there and then peel this. Let's tape the edges of this down so it lays a little more flat because I ripped it up a little bit. Maybe put this book over here to break that up, and then let's put these little florals in this moon. I just wish this sticker was a little bit smaller. I like it there, but I wish it was like a little bit smaller. Maybe I could add like see if I have a little pink frame that would, this is circular, that could be cute. So it adds pink without being a big flower. Let's do that. Okay, now let's place this flower. Okay, I think this is looking really cute. I like it a lot. Let's see if we want to add any more of these. Maybe this little bookmark would be cute down here. And then I kind of want to take this moon off because I didn't realize she had a moon right there when I placed it, and see if I can put it somewhere else. Let's put it over here. And then I want to put all these little sparkles and maybe some hearts in this space where I had that moon, and put these instead. And put this little leaf there. And I think I will put this sticker like right here. And then let's see if I have any. I have more hearts over here, and a little leaf. And then these hearts. And then I just want maybe one more right here. There, I think that looks really cute. Let's stamp May right there. And maybe I might rip this. It's coming up a little bit anyway. Instead of gluing it down, I think I'll rip it a little bit there. I like that better. Okay, and now let's stamp May. Actually, I'm going to move all these April stamps. Here we have May stamps, and let's stamp it. There we go. We just need to write the book titles in the frames. Okay, let's do the Tainted Cup in the biggest one since the author's name is longer. And let's put Witch Hat here. I don't know who it's by. The author's too small on here. I can look it up, but I'm filming on my phone. So I think I'll just put volume 2. And then Clockwork Prince. There, those are my books, and that's my cover page. And I think we can move on to the first book spread. Okay, so let's do, I think I'll do them in order I read them, just why not? And I read Clockwork Prince first, and funny thing is this is a reread of this series, but I forgot that I read the whole series. For some reason I thought I only remembered reading the first one, but this is the second one in the trilogy. And as I was reading it, I kept feeling like I knew what was going to happen. And like right before it would happen, I would remember and it was correct. So I thought that was kind of funny that I kept knowing what was going to happen. And I forgot I had read it. I read Clockwork Angel this long ago. So I read it last July, so almost a year ago. That's crazy. Okay, well here's the cover I did for Clockwork Angel. And so I thought maybe I would make them match a little bit. I think I got this stopwatch thing from a roll of washi tape and I cut it out. So maybe we'll do something like that again. Okay, so I found that same clock right there that we might use. And then I like I don't know, I think this is like what would you say, like a diagram for like a boat or something. But I like that it kind of looks like mechanical parts of something, kind of. Let me know if you've read this series. The Infernal Devices is very popular. It's a YA series and it's fantasy. And Cassandra Clare is known for her other series, The Mortal Instruments, I think is her most popular. And she wrote this series as like a prequel, I kind of think, series, or at least it's in the same world as Mortal Instruments, but it's set in the past. It's older. Everything occurs before her other series, which I think is set in like modern day America. I think this series is set in London. And it's very like almost steampunk, maybe a little bit. I mean, it depends on how you picture it when you read it, for sure. You could interpret it otherwise, but it kind of has this like city magic and then industrial vibe because it's called Clockwork, because this one there is like a mystery kind of that there is a villain creating clockwork, like people, like robotic people powered by magic that are just wreaking havoc, and they're not doing good things. So they have to figure out kind of who's creating these things, why and how they're creating them, and how to stop them. And then there is a big side plot of romance that's very popular in this trilogy. There's a love triangle with the main character, Tessa Gray, and she's from America and came over to London and gets introduced to the Shadowhunters and these two best friends who are Jem and Will, and they then form this love triangle. But they're also friends and have endearing parts of their relationship as well, not just romance. It is, like I said, YA, so it's not like super, I don't know, it's not like smutty, for example, you know what I'm saying? It's just YA fantasy with a romance. But yeah, I don't know if others would describe it as having like a mystery element, but I kind of think that it has a mystery element. I mean, I think a lot of books do, honestly. I know you don't necessarily call them like a mystery book as a genre just because they have like a mysterious element to them, but this one to me feels like a London mystery with magic and shadow hunters, and so I like it a lot. And like I said, as I was reading it, realized I think I've read the whole series before. I think I know where it's going, not like very well, so I'm still interested to read it again, but I rated it, this book, 4 stars, as well as the one before it, I believe. And I think that's just because I've already read it. I think otherwise it would honestly be like a 5-star series, especially if I was younger, which I was when I first read them. It's very good. Cassandra Clare's writing is very like easy to read, but full of emotion. Her characters are usually well developed and have growth throughout her series. So yeah, very, very good author to pick up if you've never read anything by her. Look her up and see if any of her books sound good, because she also has adult fantasy, at least one series I know of called Sword Catcher, I believe. And I have not read that, but I really want to because I've also heard good things about that series. But I feel like Cassandra Clare was really big when I was younger and reading Hunger Games and a lot of dystopian things coming out at the time. So reading her fantasy books was a little refreshing because I don't know about you guys, but I read Maze Runner, Divergent, and Insurgent, that whole trilogy. And I read, like I said, Hunger Games, and all of those were just more like dystopian worlds, I guess you would say, with like trials and that kind of thing. And so Cassandra Clare's writing with her one series, Mortal Instruments, being set in modern day New York. I don't remember where it is, sorry. And then this book being set in London, like these real world places, as opposed to a dystopian world. I felt like her books were kind of refreshing back back when I was reading them when I was a bit younger. So I would definitely recommend if you liked any of those books I mentioned but you haven't read hers. They're not exactly the same by any means, but really good, and YA, so you might like them, and you know, fantasy and that kind of thing. Okay, I taped this stuff down. I have been talking about the book and trying to still work on the spread, so hopefully there wasn't anything I needed to explain about what I'm doing. I sometimes struggle to do my spreads and talk about the books at the same time, so I've thought about doing a voiceover, but I just tend to like to talk while I do it because voiceover intimidates me, because I feel like the fact that you can redo it over and over sometimes makes me feel like the perfectionist side of me makes me feel like I need to keep doing it until it's kind of like perfect, quote unquote. It's never really perfect, but hopefully you know what I mean. And sometimes just, you know, editing these videos, making the spreads, all of that is a lot. So if I also then feel like I need to do a voiceover, it can be a little intimidating, but I'll do it if I feel like it would be better. I don't really want to cover up this. I like that. So maybe I'll have it end, this washi tape end right there. Okay, I like that. And this is a washi tape from the same Midnight Summer's Dream. I have that set and I use it a lot because I don't want to spend all my money all the time on stationery and washi tapes and things. I mean, I kind of do, but you know, I need to buy other things. So I just like using this set a lot whenever I can. Okay, I'm liking that, and then I was thinking we could add this clock over here maybe, and some other, I don't know, like they're in a school, kind of. It's more like a home base than a school. Like they learn fighting and stuff at their school, but it's not really like very academic. But the series, somehow it just has like a little bit of like a academic type of feel to it. If you've read the series, let me know if you agree. And then I might do a video showing you guys books I want to read over the summer. I might do a romance, like readathon, and see how many romances I can read over the summer. Maybe not for the whole summer, but like a week or a month or something. And then other than romance, I was thinking I honestly want to read cozy fantasy and middle grade fantasy, which are kind of sometimes one and the same. The middle grade aspect to fantasy sometimes lends it to being quite cozy, which is why I like it if it's well written. I mean, I enjoy things that are very like literal kids books, but I don't obviously enjoy them as much as something that is a little more like Harry Potter, where you can read it as an adult and it still has kind of deeper themes to it, just still falls under middle grade. So I got a lot of cozy fantasy when I was in DC, and I'm hoping to read a lot of that over the summer because some of them are just shorter, or the cozy element, I guess, makes it seem lighthearted. And when I think summer, I guess usually romance, but I was also thinking just like more lighthearted. So maybe it would be a good time to go through a lot of cozy fantasy books I have and try to read those. I know for my spring TBR, I wanted to read The Honey Witch. I'm not sure if I'll like it. I've heard mixed things, but I wanted to read it and I didn't get around to it for my spring TBR. So maybe I'll make a summer TBR and either put less books, more specific books, or I don't know, just make a fun TBR spread and do romance and cozy fantasy. Let me know if you'd want to see that. I'm trying to vlog more, and those just take me a while to edit, but I am putting together some vlogs, so if you're interested, I usually show myself reading more in those, and I'm trying to get better about essentially making reading vlogs because I think that would be fun to pair with my reading journal. I can do vlogs to show you guys like when I'm actually reading and what I'm up to, and then when I'm done with the books I can come and make my reading journal setup. It might be a good way to talk to you more about my thoughts while I'm reading the book too, if you're interested in that at all. Okay, let's cut this. I lost my bigger scissors. I can't find them, so I'm using my embroidery scissors. Okay, now let's clean this up. It's not perfect, that's for sure, but that's okay. It's too hard to cut, but let's put it, I think, over here. There we go. I like how that looks. And now I have, not this little guy, I have these little stickers that I like a lot. They came with the same paper ephemera, so they, like with this set, I think this all came together. So it's nice to use it all together. I don't know what this is, but I like it. And let's put it down over here. I'm keeping my Traveler's Passport notebook, my little one, as a secondary reading journal to keep with me while I read, and I don't do all these stickers and things in it. I just take notes while I read, so it's a lot more simple. But I posted a video flipping through that briefly if you are interested. I thought it'd be fun to update you guys on that every now and then to just like flip through it and show you how I've been using it, because I've been having a lot of fun with that. Let's put this sticker over here. And then I don't really know what this is, to be honest with you. Like a ticket. It says daily return. Passenger, yeah, it seems like a train ticket, I don't know, but it's giving London vibes to me. And I think it just kind of goes. I found some other things that could break that up. I could put these so that it kind of goes with my other spreads that I've done a lot. They're a little more the coloring of this washi tape one. Not those, but maybe like, more like these ones, maybe. I think let's do it. Let's add like a little gold element, reflective kind of thing. Let's see. This one's so little, maybe right there. Placing over here to break up those edges. And then I like the candlestick. I used it on the previous spread for the last book in the series. There, that's just subtle, but I think I like the effect that that has. And then let's see if we can stamp out the title. Let's clean up these ones too. Okay, I've got my capital letters, and now let's find the stamps for the lowercase letters. Okay, I think I have all my stamps. Let's see if we can fit Clockwork right here. Let's do the K. I don't know. I guess I don't want to run out of room. Let's do the C first and see how much room it takes up. Okay, and then maybe I'll just do Prince underneath and we'll just write over there. Oops, I'm getting ink everywhere. I think I'll just move it over a little bit. Actually, I think I'll do the E first and try to make the ends line up. I think I want to do that. Why? I don't know. I just do. There we go. Now let's put by Cassandra Clare. Okay, there. And now I'll write in it at the end about the book. So let's go to the next spread. Actually, since the ink is drying, I might write about it now. I don't normally do that, but I think that could work well, and then I will talk more about the book if I remember things as I go. I'm gonna write on this page and then on this page, just so you know. Sometimes I write all the way across, but when I do like the title over here, I just go ahead and write on this page and then on this one. I will say the romance in this series is really good. Even though it's YA, I almost feel like that's part of why the romance is better, because it can't lean on things like smut as like a crutch to keep you interested or whatever. It actually has very interesting characters and does a good job making you really fall in love with all of them, so that, I don't know about you guys, but other books I've read with like a love triangle, first of all, it's not necessarily my favorite thing. Second of all, sometimes one choice seems so much like more obvious or better than the other one in a love triangle, so you're not really that invested. You're more just like annoyed, I guess. But in this series, all of the characters are so well done and they all like love each other. They're not just completely selfish, I guess I would say. And so it actually has like some darker themes in it and some like even kind of like gut-wrenching like emotional relationships between characters with things going on with family or things from their past. This second book dives more into the characters' past and what's going on or what has happened to them to make them the way they are. And it's very sad kind of, but makes you love the characters all the more. I will say a goal of mine is to stop taking such large breaks between reading books and series, because I read the first one in this series. I read it apparently last July or last summer, and I did not realize it'd been so long. And I have read it before, so it helped me to remember. But I do think I would enjoy it even more if I had gone straight into it, because she gets closer to one of the characters in the first book and then closer to another in the second book. And so I think that would, if I had read the first book more recently, I would have remembered more of that and it would have felt more sudden, or yeah, it just would have made the timeline make more sense. So pro tip, if you read the series, try not to take a big break in between each book if you can, because I think you'll like it more. I'm excited because I don't remember for sure how this series ends, even though I've read it before. I can't remember what happens in the end, so I'm curious to see if certain things I suspect will happen or not, or if I'm remembering them exactly. I think I'll finish up writing, and then I might put a sticker here, now that this space is kind of empty, and I will put my star sticker for the rating because I forgot to put that. Okay, finished writing. Now let's put a star sticker and fill in the rating. Okay, and I think I'll just give it 4 stars. There we go, and now let's see what sticker looks good up there. Maybe this one? I kind of like that, this little like ticket thing. This is not staying down, so let's see if we can tape it. There we go. Okay, and now let's do the next book. The next book we have is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, and I have 2 different covers. This is the one I read, the American, and this is the UK cover. And let's just put both on the spread for now and see where we want to go with it. There are plants in this book, so I'm thinking maybe I have not used this washi tape yet. It's kind of like vine-ish, and it goes with this cover a lot. Maybe that one, to give you an idea what the book is about, a little background, is that it's a fantasy mystery. So a mystery based in a fantasy setting that is very reminiscent of Attack on Titan, if you've ever seen that. If you haven't seen it, essentially there are walls built around the city, and they are built to protect the city against these huge titans that are in the ocean that come up and attack the city every so often. And so the world, or this city, lives pretty much in constant fear that one of these titans might break through and it might not be destroyed in time. So there's a whole kind of like military system that takes care of the walls, if they're breached, killing the titans and fixing the walls and all this stuff. And our main character's name is Din, and he is an apprentice to one of the head investigators. And his first investigation leads him to this house where someone was found with a tree growing out of them, and he has to go to this murder scene essentially and figure out what's going on. But in this world, people can have different abilities added to them through surgical procedure type of thing. And he has the ability to engrave. He's called an engraver, and that means he can essentially engrave things into his memory and remember them perfectly. And he uses these vials of strong scents to help him remember. So he'll essentially go around the crime and sniff his vial to help him remember and engrave everything he can, like the scenery, any clues, what everything looked like, any facts people tell him, engrave it all into his memory, and then he goes back to tell his quirky investigator that he works for everything that he saw, and she figures it out just based on what he said. She goes out sometimes, but she's essentially kind of like a hermit and doesn't like to be overstimulated. And yeah, they describe her a lot as having a blindfold on. So she goes around with a blindfold on and just has people, mostly Din, tell her what's going on. And I think that's really funny. They have a really interesting dynamic. And it's definitely adult, and it's like a little bit darker, so just keep that in mind. But it was really good. I gave it 5 stars. Very interesting the whole way through. And even though I've seen Attack on Titan, I didn't feel like that spoiled anything. I really enjoyed it a lot. Let's start building this spread a little bit. I don't know what I want to do, but I might just do some ripped brown paper and see if we maybe go with the green and black cover. Well, it only has a little bit of green, and my printer didn't really print it that great, but maybe I won't go up the sides as much. Let's glue this here and cut off the excess. Let's start with that. I actually think I will glue it instead of taping it because I'm using my glue tape a lot. Okay, let's cut the excess off. I only have these little scissors. Okay, there we have that, and let's put the washi tape down. I think this will go really well. There we go. I have the tape down. Now let's see what else we want to add. This book had a lot of cool plants. There wasn't really magic, but everything was like a science or an invention or a plant that had been bred to do different things. So there were plants that acted like gates that you could only get through with certain keys. So different things like that were in the book that were really cool. These are some stickers from some paintings I scanned in, but I thought they might go because of the black, but I think I'll find something else. But yeah, it was definitely a really interesting world to read about, really good world building. I feel like as the series goes on, there is a second book out already that I think it's called A Drop of Corruption, and I really want to read that one next because it seems like the format of this series is each book has its own mystery that is solved by the end of the book, but then there's an overarching mystery going on for the whole series. I'm assuming, I don't know how long it will be, but where you're going to figure out what these titans, like where they're coming from or why they are there. And so I'm really excited to keep reading and learn more about that because it was very interesting. Okay, let's see what else goes with this spread. I do think there were different kinds of mushrooms in the book. Like I said, a lot of different plants used. The murderer, whoever it is or whatever's going on, you find out at the beginning they're using a plant as a form of murder to, like I said, he finds a political important figure with a tree growing out of his body. So that's a big kind of theme in the book, are all the different plants. So let's maybe incorporate some of my mushroom and plant related ephemera. I have these stamps. I like these, but they're kind of lighter, and I kind of want a darker overall background because I already have the brown paper that's like a little bit lighter, so I'm thinking maybe more like this or something to go over here. That. But yeah, this book was very interesting. I would definitely recommend it. It wasn't quite like anything I've ever read before, and I think it was a really cool take on a mystery. I've been reading some like Agatha Christie mysteries here and there, which are very like classic mystery, and so this was really cool with the fantasy elements in there. I have these stickers that might go. My daughter drew on some of them this one time and drew on a lot of my stickers, but whatever, I will still use it. I think I like this sticker, and this clear mushroom sticker is kind of nice because it's mushrooms but looks different than the others. It's a little more subtle. I think I'm liking this. Let's tape down these papers. Maybe let's tear the bottom a little bit. There we go. And now, where do we want to put these? Okay, I found this fern, which I think will be nice for some greenery up there. And I want to put this piece right here. Okay, now let's tape this side down. First, this black piece of paper. I like those ones, and like put this somewhere over here maybe, and then that could go right there. Let's do that. Let's put this down. Peel, stick, rip. Let's put some mushrooms over here. Let's put this fern over here. I found these ones as well. That could maybe go over here. I like the red and the green and the black all together. This is kind of empty, but I like that. I don't think it needs to be completely full. I think it's got enough going on. Let's put this one down. There we go. Okay, and now let's put the cover down. And let's put a star sticker. I think that's looking really fun. I found one more fern type of sticker that I think we could put like right there, or maybe like that. I think I'll cut off the stem though. go. Now let's write in it. Should we stamp the title? I think let's try stamping the title up here before we write in it. Okay, I think I have most of the stamps I need, and I'll just start here and stamp. Okay, there is the title. Now let's write the author and let's fill in the stars. And I gave it 5 stars. It was very unique, very entertaining. I think it was very well paced, kept my interest and kept giving you new clues about the case they're trying to solve. And the whole time you're learning more about the characters, which I love in a first book in a series because yeah, I love when there's good character development and world building, so you really get into the story because it makes me want to read the second one. Now let's write about the book, and again, I'm going to write on this page down and then this page down. Something I enjoyed about this book is that although you would think giant creatures coming from the sea would be like the main point of the story just because it's such a big, it's just such a crazy like concept. I liked that it was actually, that there was a mystery that was still really the main part of the story, and the Titans were almost just like a side thing going on, which was really interesting because obviously that's such a huge, literally huge, but also, you know, daunting thing going on the whole time that you're not sure if a Titan's gonna come. Meanwhile, you're trying to solve a mystery. Yeah, I thought that was it's just such a interesting book overall. There we go. I'm done with this one. And now we can move on to the spread about our last book. This last spread I'm going to do for the manga I read, which is the second in a series called Hat Atelier. So this is just the second one. I read the first one a while ago and could not find the second one for a really long time. So that kind of kept me from reading it for a while because I kept finding the third one or the first one. My library didn't have it. So I could have, I guess, requested it or something, but I finally found it when I was in DC and I just picked it up. I wasn't planning to, but it caught my eye and I read it. Really quick read, of course, so I don't think I need a whole spread. So I'm going to find something to print to put over here, like some artwork from the story since it has such beautiful illustrations and artwork. I'm going to find something and just print it for this side so that I just have to write on this side. Okay, I'm back. I printed this off. This is a character that's on the cover of this volume. I believe her name is Agate. I think you say agate like the stone. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. I thought this was really pretty and I thought maybe I will do a frame around it with this key washi tape, but I'm not sure yet. Let's see. The other ones, the other spreads we did, let's see if we want to use some of these stickers. I like these stickers a lot from Maragona Suli and I was planning on maybe using them, but I think that maybe I'll use some of like the books and the magical little elements maybe, but I don't really want to use another witch because this has such beautiful style artwork, and like the manga series does, and Maragona Suli's artwork is so beautiful, but they're not really the same, so I don't really want them to compete too much, you know? So we'll see. I might just keep it simple since we've already done a lot, and I have this big beautiful piece over here, but I think these style pieces that I have in my ephemera collection will go well. That one's a sticker, and then I have some pieces that look like that are just paper. Let me find them. Yeah, like a little bigger like that one. That's kind of cool and definitely goes with the colors. And it looks like a diagram of sorts. And in this story, the magic system is really cool. I'm really not far into it at all. The books themselves just are pretty short with the amount of words that are in them. They have a lot of beautiful illustrations, you know, but not as much text. So not too much happens in each individual one, so I'm not that far into the story. But it's really fun and cute and honestly kind of comforting to read this series. Let me know if anyone else has like comfort manga series that they read. The magic is involved with writing. It's really cool. I don't know if I can explain it very well, but essentially they write different diagrams to create spells, and they relate magic a lot to like everyday things like cooking. There was a whole little scene in this volume where the leader of the atelier, their like teacher, was telling her it's like most beneficial to practice magic just in your everyday life, but with things like cooking. And I really liked the parallel, or just the example they gave of cooking, because it's really like real life, where cooking you are performing a kind of alchemy, if you think about it, where you take ingredients and combine them to make something else. And I thought that was really cool and just really cozy, nice illustrations of food and just like cozy settings. So I really enjoy this series. I can definitely see myself maybe picking up a bunch more volumes from the library or something. I want to own a few, but I don't think I need to own all of them. And I know there is a spin-off series where they cook. It's called Hat Atelier Kitchen, so I don't really know what happens in that, but I imagine that's very cozy too. There is like a larger plot going on in this series. I read the first one so long ago, I might reread that, but essentially our main character's name is Coco, and she, I don't know if she was cursed by this witch coven or something, but these like, I think they're witches, but they're like, I guess evil, you know, it's like something, they're doing something wrong, not following the magical laws, I guess. So she was like cursed by them or something, and there's kind of like mystery going on, trying to figure out who they are and what's happening. I don't know much, like I said, because I'm not far into it, but it's very fun so far, and I'm enjoying it a lot. And it's nice when I'm very busy, I was traveling, to have a book that's like a little bit of a quicker read and very visual. Mangas are always so nice because they're filled with beautiful artwork. I like the gold reflection a lot on this key washi tape. I'm going to place some more at the bottom and then on the sides as well. There are kids playing outside kind of right in front of my house across the street, so hopefully it's not too loud or anything. And now let's place another strip over here. And then this piece up here was a little too long. I'm gonna cut that. There we go. That was easy, of course, because I just printed it off, but that's a good tip if you are not someone who wants to make whole collages. I would consider printing things off that remind you of the book. In my mini reading journal, sometimes I do, mostly I just write about the books, but every now and then I do like a little mood board for the book because I just think it's fun, and I just print it. I put the pictures together for the mood board in Canva and print it and just cut out one piece. I don't layer them in my little book, if that makes sense, just to keep it simple. I have no idea what this says. I almost don't want to read it because it might ruin me wanting to use it, but I might use that because it's kind of cute. And then just some brown paper at the bottom. I'll do that, I think, and then cover up that with this. Yeah, let's start by putting the brown paper down, and I will glue it. If you've never read manga before, it can take a little bit to get used to reading it kind of backwards of what you're used to. You know, the writing is reverse. You start at the back of the book is the front of the book. But I would definitely recommend trying out a series that sounds interesting to you if you've never read one before. They can be very, very different from other types of books with just, you know, how they're more like a comic with all of the imagery in them, so it can be very, very fun, a nice change. And then if you have read a lot of manga, definitely comment and let me know other series you might like. I have really not read much at all. I have a Legend of Zelda. I don't know if there's more than one series for Legend of Zelda, to be honest. I haven't looked, but I have a series. I think it might be Majora's Mask series. I have not read them all. And then I haven't, other than this series, read much manga at all. I've read some things here and there, but I just can't think of it. I've been thinking of getting into Fruits Basket. I have not read that, but I heard about the TV show like a long time ago and thought about trying the books. But yeah, let me know if you have any recommendations. Let's put some of this washi tape on the top and bottom of this page, and then we'll cut. And then let's place some of this. Nothing crazy, but I think I like how it's simple and focuses a lot on the artwork over here. Now let's tape down the cover tape. And let's do a star sticker. I only have one left, so need to get more. There's the star sticker. I think maybe a sticker right here would look good, and then I'll write in it. I have this moon that I used last time, which for some reason just goes. I usually think of moons going this way, but it could go that way. Maybe I'll put it right there and then put something else over here. There's not much having to do with mushrooms in here, really, per se, that I know of yet, but I think that looks cute and goes with my theme. So let's put this moon down and then a mushroom. And I actually found my last spread that I did for the book, the first volume, so I can show that to you if you want to see. Let me put this sticker down. There we go. And let me show you the last spread I did. Very similar in a way. My style hasn't changed too much, and I like them to kind of go together even though they're not in the same reading journal. I think it's kind of fun. I almost used this washi tape again, but I thought the key washi tape was really pretty with the color palette. If it stays down, it comes up a little bit in the corner, so I might tape it, but that's okay. Okay, and now that we have all of that in there, let's fill in the star rating and write in here. Cleaning these up a little bit. Okay, I cleaned up a little bit, and now I will do my star rating. I feel like rating a manga is a little bit harder. I feel like I'll just do it volume by volume. You know, I won't probably keep track. It's more like if it's a 5-star series overall, as I keep going, I guess, is kind of more what I go by. Because sometimes there's going to be like filler episodes, but they're still fun. So I think I'll just give it 4 stars. And then if I come across like a volume that I really, really love, I'll give it 5 stars so that I remember it was one of my favorites. Okay, and now let's write about the book. I can definitely see myself getting a bunch of volumes from the library if they have them and binging it like it's a TV show. There we go. Finished writing about Witch Hat. And now let's flip through all of the spreads. First we have the cover spread. Then we have Clockwork Prince. Then the Tainted Cup. And then Hat Atelier Volume 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for coming along with me while I update my reading journal. I will fill out my yearly spreads next, and post that as a separate video if you're interested in seeing it. If I have it up by the time you're watching this video, I'll go ahead and link it in the end card so you can find it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love to have you here, and I love any and all feedback and comments you guys leave. You're very kind. I appreciate every one of you who has subscribed and likes my videos and comments. It means a lot to me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye guys.